Your thoughts on what we're seeing unfold. For a long period of time, it was quiet, relatively quiet with regards to the Taliban, and now they're moving very, very quickly, taking over some very key areas here. Kabul, we know, hasn't been takeover, but is on the brink. Herat and Kandahar, two major areas have.
And Angie, what we're seeing, quite frankly, is an encirclement of Kabul. And what the major general said on your show earlier today is absolutely right. This is both hard to watch, and the call that policymakers now need to go out and decide upon when and how do you evacuate is the stakes are incredibly high. Even the discussion of that yesterday, right, had to absolutely shake the confidence of the Afghan government and the Afghan people who do not want to see the Taliban advance, and absolutely probably buoyed the spirits of the Taliban. And so you've got that risk at the same time that if you move too late, we're hearing a lot of Saigon imagery, but the reality is it would be more like Benghazi, or even, unfortunately, a situation like the 1979 seizure of the embassy in Tehran, except that we have YouTube now.
Yeah, yeah. If I'm hearing that we're days, 30 or so days away from Kabul being taken over. If that happens, walk me through the scenario.
Yeah, so what we had in the 90s was the president took refuge in the UN headquarters, eventually forced to flee there. The Taliban hung him in the streets. But there was a redoubt in northeastern Afghanistan, right? And a number of opposition groups that banded together into what we now know as was the Northern Alliance. That likely will not exist this time around. The Taliban have deliberately made advances in the northeast of the country and have taken over border posts there. And so what you might see is a Taliban with a stronger amount of control and a larger amount of territory that they ever had in the lead up to 9/11.
What does this mean for the Afghan security force, for the government? A lot of questions are saying, hold on a second here. How did this happen? As I feel, I mean, the plans were being made very, very quietly until they were ready to strike.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it does not speak obviously well of the Afghan security forces. Yeah. It's hard to imagine where their morale now is, particularly given what they have on the line, right, very immediately, their lives. But at the same time, the West did them no favors here at the end. Ashraf Ghani, the president of Afghanistan, visited Joe Biden a month ago, and we hammered out exactly none of the specifics of what our support to them would look like in the absence of withdrawal. Nor is the American government right now even willing to commit to air support after August 31st. So there are a number of tactical ways that we sort of did the Afghan forces no favors, while that doesn't excuse, obviously, the understandable frustration that we have here in the West.
Yeah, no, certainly. And we know that women, young girls, unfortunately, they will be the target as they continue to move into the areas. Talk to me a little bit about the concern there, Jason, but also, I guess, bigger picture here in terms of the threat to the Western world.
Yeah, so to your point about the women, you know, in the country, particularly the girls, there is no scenario going forward in Afghanistan that does not involve catastrophe and humanitarian blight. Yeah. And so it's sad to see. When we circle back here to the West, there is a reality that exists, and that reality is large-scale physical terrorist safe havens result in complex international attacks. We have decades of evidence of that now. And so until that formula changes, a lot of the navel-gazing, for instance, that I see here in the United States doesn't matter. And what people need to start to demand of their political leadership, watching the failure of our plans in the past 30 days, is where and how will this over-the-horizon counterterrorism strategy actually be based out of, and how will it succeed?
We're going to keep a very, very close eye on developments. Jason, we'd love to get you back on the program to continue your analysis on this. Jason Killmeyer, former Chief of Staff for Global Defense, Security and Justice at Deloitte. Thank you again for your time, Jason.